Fratres. That's how I always would start the freshman beginning with it when it was all boys. And now I call out and say, brothers and sisters, you're about to enter into a community that goes beyond your imagination. It starts being about 60 years old. And then we consider the brothers in America, it goes back 150 years. And if we go back to Reichen himself, it's almost 200 years. By yourselves, you're really not much at all. You've come from your parents and from the people who are there who've made you who you are today. In fact, what you do is you stand on the shoulders of the giants who went before you. You need to take that seriously. There are some who tease you and say you woke up on third base and you hit the triple. But what Xaverian guys know is that once they're on that third base, they have a responsibility to make sure other people can get there as well. The fact that they've been given the grace of being part of a community that cares for them, that's their gift. But the fact is they always pay it forward. That's a true Xaverian graduate. That's a true Xaverian man. That's a true Xaverian man or woman these days.
My name is Dan Sherrod. I'm the assistant principal for academics at Xaverian High School. This is my 18th year working here. I have been a teacher in the social studies department for that entire time period. I've also been the dean of academics as well as the admissions director before that. So I kind of have seen the process through, basically going back to since about 2000.
Have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow.
So my Xaverian experience has pretty much been me trying to challenge myself as much as I could. I came in all honors classes, and I've been doing some extracurricular activities, whether it be a club or a sport. And each year I've kind of been increasing my load just to push myself to the limit, which I can do well at the school at Xaverian.
My favorite memory from Xaverian was probably making friends with people who I didn't think I'd be friends with, and still be friends with them today. And meeting new people, different classes with every kid, so you get to know everybody, and at the end when you graduate, you have like a relationship with everyone. You feel like you're really brothers from when you went in not really knowing anybody.
What class are you in now?
And then I found out about Xaverian being co-ed, and it was like a really big change. I didn't even expect to be coming here. It was a little overwhelming at first, but I feel like I fit in really well. I love the programs that they have here. The education's really nice. I made a lot of great friends here. I really like being there's like historic class of 20. It's just really crazy to me.
Have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me.
For over 50 years, Xaverian was the premier all-boys high school in Brooklyn. And it had been very much in an old-fashioned 20th century expectations. And with that came a lot of the camaraderie, the fun, the excitement, and the very masculine tendency and feel for the building. We began to look at the reality of what the demographics were telling us about the future, and also what we could do and what we offered compared to some of the other schools out there. And we began to realize that we needed to kind of expand our program to keep us at our best. And we began to realize that our best way would be to go to the sisters of the brothers we've had here for these last 50 some odd years. The transition took many years to do. It became an idea that had to go through the Board of Trustees, our constituents, our alums, and even our students and parents of the present day. When it all came down to it, there was an overwhelming majority who said, now is the time. For the 21st century, Xaverian now has to be not just for the boys, but for all boys and girls.
So we're in year 2 of the transition to coeducation, and the process began a number of years back when we did studies. We worked with a number of outside groups and met with our board of trustees and our constituents within the building to talk about our plan moving forward for co-ed. I think what made this an easier transition for Xaverian is that we already had a co-ed middle school. We have the Genesis program, which is grades 6th, 7th, and 8th, which has been co-ed for as many years as I can remember.
For me, being the first freshman class that was co-ed, I feel that we were just like paving the way for every other class that comes into Xaverian, because now we use our life and we use our light to shine on all the other younger Genesis kids and kids coming from other schools.
It's different. I don't think that I would be able to get used to it if I saw it in person, because I'm so used to those 4 years of just being with brothers. But I'm sure that it'll have a long-lasting positive effect on the school, and I hope that it does, so that Xaverian continues on for the next 10 years, the next 20 years, the next 50 years, so that my kids can go there and their kids can go there. It means to not leave anybody behind, to stay with the people that you were brought up with, and to keep your family close and to make your friends the same thing to your family. And that's what Xaverian taught me. I still am best friends with every single kid that I became best friends with in Xaverian, and I'm proud of that.
For all of our alums, the question is, what is it to be part of the Xaverian brotherhood? And while we've changed that metaphor from brotherhood to family, the same reality is identical. And what it means to be a Xaverian guy, a Xaverian gal, is that we see the world and we realize we can make a difference, but we don't have to put on airs to do it. Xaverian has a sort of a blue collar, a lunch pail kind of approach to it, and we actually change the world. So we have Xaverian alums who are Supreme Court judges in New York State and entrepreneurs that are beyond repair. We have guys who are working in hedge funds, and we also have guys who became brothers and priests, as well as people who are teachers and firemen and cops. Being a Xaverian guy, being a Xaverian person, means that we want to make the world different. But we're going to do it with a Brooklyn flair.
My favorite part about being a Xaverian brother was building bonds and relationships with people who are in your class or even graduated between different grades.
Yeah, just like PJ said, it could be years later and you could see someone who went to Xaverian on the street and they'll always say hello and there's always a story to share.
Yeah, I definitely agree with everyone here. As you can see in this video, I mean, we're all great friends still, so definitely as being an only child, Xaverian gave me brothers I didn't really have in my normal life.
It was my home then, it is my home now, and it'll always be my home.